A huge winter storm will be impacting the United States today and tomorrow, and this is about to unleash a ton of snow across the Ohio Valley and as well as back through the East Coast, as we are expecting anywhere from just an inch or two of snow all the way up closer to a foot of snow in some places. In addition to that, ice accumulation will be possible, and beyond this, we are expecting another winter storm by the tail end of next week, and maybe even a big Arctic blast. So in today's forecast, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know about the weather that'll be impacting the United States over the next several days, and we'll begin with what's happening across the country this morning. And we got a huge winter storm on our hands. This has actually been overperforming over the last 24 hours. Areas like Amarillo, Texas were able to pick up upwards of 12 inches of snow out of this winter storm. For the record, they were forecasted to see around 3 to 5 inches of snow, so big overperformance there. Areas like southeast Oklahoma also picked up on near a foot of snow in some spots. Most people were around 6 to 12 inches, and then even near Dallas and Fort Worth, we had a few areas closer to 8 to 10 inches of snow. So overall, this winter storm has overperformed, and it is now moving into Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, and it is expected to dump several more inches of snow throughout the day today, and then eventually by tomorrow, this will be moving towards the East Coast, where we are expecting some more additional snowfall accumulation. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is one of the craziest winter weather advisory and winter storm warning maps I've ever seen. There are so many counties and so many states included in various winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings. We do have winter storm warnings in effect from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which many of those are now ending, all the way back through Arkansas, Tennessee, much of the Dixie Alley into Kentucky, and even into parts of North and South Carolina are included in winter storm warnings. We also have winter weather advisories in effect in the purple, which includes a huge area, and a few different freeze warnings also in effect in South Texas, parts of northern Florida, and then also back into parts of Arizona, where below freezing temperatures are expected this morning and may even occur tomorrow morning. Now, before we go further into today's forecast, if you've not already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We are getting close to 1 million subscribers, and if every one of you watching this video hit the subscribe button, there's a chance we get close to 1 million subscribers. So make sure to subscribe down below. We'll keep you posted with the latest on this winter storm and upcoming winter storms in the near future. Now let's talk more about what's going to be happening with this winter storm both today and tomorrow, and what we expect in terms of snowfall accumulation. We'll begin with what's happening right now, and there's already heavy snowfall falling across much of Arkansas, Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. We even have some sleet and freezing rain that is mixing in across parts of Arkansas, central Alabama, and even central Georgia, which will create some slick spots on the roadways today, especially those that are untreated. I also want to point out that there is a little bit of light to moderate snowfall leaking into the Midwest, so just a little heads up there. We're not expecting significant accumulation up there, but there will be a few inches on top of what we just saw with the last winter storm. By around 9 to 10 in the morning, the snow will continue to track east. Almost all of Tennessee will have some level of snow falling by around 10 o'clock this morning, and then just after lunchtime is when the heaviest of the snow is expected across Tennessee, Kentucky, and even back into northeastern Arkansas, where several inches of snow will be possible throughout the day today. Keep a close eye on this, by the way. Our freezing line is going to be lifting to the north as we go throughout the afternoon hours, which means that we could see a transition in parts of Tennessee to perhaps even some sleet, which would lead to ice accumulation. So we need to watch this very, very closely, because if that happens, the roadways would even be worse than what they'll be with, normal snow, for example. As we get closer to around 3 to 4 o'clock, this continues to move north and east. Areas like North Carolina, including Raleigh and also back near Charlotte, will be ending their snow drought, as there will be some snow that'll move through those areas right around 4 to 5 o'clock, and then mostly sleet and snow across Tennessee by around 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. All of Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana dealing with light to moderate snowfall, and then after sunset tonight, the heaviest of the snow will start to ramp up back over here in North Carolina, Southeast Virginia, and even southern Maryland, where we are going to get a really strong southerly wind, which is going to build moisture, and that's going to create the threat here for some very heavy snowfall. But keep in mind that this heavy snowfall is only going to last a couple of hours, so we're not going to be seeing this, for upwards of 12 hours or so like Texas saw yesterday. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a quick shot of heavy snowfall, but it will stack up pretty quickly. And then as we go into Saturday morning, this is moving into the northeast, where there will be some light to moderate snow, mainly around Long Island and Cape Cod. And then eventually, as we go later into Saturday afternoon, this is really just spinning just barely offshore of New England. We are going to be close to seeing several inches of snow back over in Cape Cod due to the position of this low pressure system. So if the snow is heavy enough for maybe a few hours, we could see a few inches of snow in Cape Cod, but overall, it's just barely offshore to the point where I don't really think we're going to see it really stack up, but a few inches maybe over in Cape Cod. Elsewhere, probably just a coating to some flurries and maybe up to an inch elsewhere. Now, in terms of total snowfall accumulation, accumulation. This includes what we saw last night and also going through today. So notice many areas in the Ohio Valley, we're actually going to be talking about a widespread area between 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. So good news there if you want some snow in Ohio or Indiana. Several schools are closed here across areas like Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and even back into Texas, which won't really see any more snowfall today. But areas like Tennessee are expecting a widespread 4 to 8 inches of snow. A state of emergency is in effect there across Tennessee, according to the governor. And then also we are talking about the potential for some more robust significant accumulation back over near Memphis throughout the rest of the morning. The majority of Arkansas, again, has already seen the snow that you're going to see today, but maybe an additional 1 to 2 inches will be possible. Again, this also includes what we saw last night. And then back over in northern Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Northern Georgia, a coating to a few inches. Back over in northern Alabama and Mississippi, additional snowfall accumulation between 2 to 4 inches of snowfall will be possible throughout the rest of the morning. And then back over in the mid-Atlantic, this is one area that's a little tricky to forecast, but I do think areas like Richmond, Virginia, and as well as back over near Virginia Beach will have a healthy 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. On the flip side of things, if you're back over near Roanoke, I also think we are still in the range of 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. So just be ready for that. And then back over into the Northeast, we're not really talking about much other than a coating, maybe to a couple inches of snow on the Cape Cod area. Despite the HRRR not showing that, I wouldn't rule out a couple inches of snow if that trough is just close enough there to the east coast there of New England. And we are also talking about the threat for sleet and freezing rain, which will lead to ice accumulation. This is what's forecasted in terms of sleet. Notice how far north this has moved actually over the last 24 hours. It's also moved further to the south. Even central Georgia and Alabama will be talking about some sleet accumulation over the next few hours. The good news is that, again, cold rain is moving to the north and overall temperatures are going to be warming up, so we are not expecting it to really stick for very long, but nonetheless, there will be some spotty areas out there this morning that are slippery. Back over into Tennessee, a better chance of ice accumulation that could stick around through tomorrow, so keep that in mind if you are anywhere in central, southern, or eastern Tennessee. And then back over in the Carolinas and even parts of Georgia, again, we are still talking about some sleet accumulation in those areas, which could lead to some problems on the roadways until temperatures go back to being above freezing. Now, the good news is that we are expecting a lot of the snowfall and even ice to melt relatively quickly. Despite snow melting day over day, there could be some refreezing of, that snow on the ground level, meaning that we actually could see some black ice out there throughout the weekend in many areas. So keep that in mind if you have any travel plans in the morning hours. But overall, the snow is expected to melt for the most part by the middle of next week. Notice how areas like North Texas, most of the snow will melt off by Sunday night into Monday, and areas like the Ohio Valley and as well as back over in Oklahoma and Arkansas will still probably have some snow on the ground all the way through Wednesday of this upcoming week. But again, it will be gradually melting, so most areas will not be sticking onto the snow for very long. Enjoy it while it's there, build some snowman, maybe go make some snow angels. But again, we are expecting a lot of this to melt over the next several days, especially for those in North Texas. Now, beyond this winter storm, we are going to be talking about the potential for another winter storm by next weekend. Overall, this week looks pretty dry. We're going to have a video talking more about the week ahead in another video. But overall, as we go into next Saturday and into next Sunday, we do think there's a chance for another big-time winter storm here across parts of the Ohio Valley and then eventually into the Northeast. Obviously, we are still over 7 days out, so it's too early to go into specific details. But behind this, we could be talking about the coldest weather of the entire season so far in much of the United States. So what does that exactly look like? Well, as we go throughout this week, we are expecting temperatures to be relatively around average. Some areas will be below, some will be above. It's just going to depend on where you are. But by the time we go into next weekend, look at this right here. This could be the potential for maybe the coldest weather of the season, perhaps even some of the coldest weather we've seen in quite a while for much of the United States. In our next video, which will be out tomorrow morning, we're going to talk all about what to expect out of this and what we think will be happening. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon down below so you're notified when the latest video comes out. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys all again in the next video.